KDLH TV, Duluth. Live from the broadcast center, this is KDLH News with Darren Danielson, Teresa Bryant, and Marsh Nelson.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. The Eau Claire jury deliberated for over 3 hours on the murder verdict of 19-year-old Randy Rasmussen and returned with guilty on all counts. Our Katie O'Keefe was there.
We, the jury, find the defendant Randall Arthur Rasmussen guilty of murder in the first degree as charged in the first count of the amended information.
Defendant Randy Rasmussen, his family, and several jurors sobbed as the verdict of guilty was read for the charges of first-degree murder, robbery, burglary, and theft. An emotional case from the start. The Douglas County courtroom was lined with uniform and undercover police officers for the reading of the verdict. Rasmussen is charged with brutally murdering retired Superior Fire Captain Jack Ennis and then stealing several items from his home, including his car. Before deliberating for 3.5 hours, the jury had heard 5 days of testimony from over a dozen witnesses. In his closing arguments to the jury, prosecuting attorney Harley Stark said that Randy Rasmussen was completely aware of his actions on the night of June 18th, and if he wanted to, there were several occasions in which he could have backed out of participating in the crime.
Defendant breaks down the door after having spent somewhere between 10 and 20 minutes beating on the door, ringing on the doorbell, gets in the house and finds John Ennis passed out in the house. Instead of leaving him be, instead of cleaning out his house of whatever they wanted to get out of there, they wake him up to kill him.
The trial of Rasmussen has now completed its first phase, and beginning tomorrow morning, the jury will hear more testimony concerning Rasmussen's mental capacity. They will then have to decide whether Rasmussen was capable of understanding his actions at the time of the murder. In Superior, Katie O'Keefe, KDLH News.
A 47-year-old Duluth man made his initial appearance in district court in Pine City today in connection with the shooting death of another Duluth man more than a year ago. Kendall Bliss is charged with second-degree murder for allegedly shooting 50-year-old John Lake of Duluth on or about August 1st of 1986. Lake's body was discovered in a shallow grave near Willow River on Monday, and Bliss was arrested in Duluth on Wednesday. Bliss remains in the Pine County Jail in lieu of $150,000 bail. His next court appearance is scheduled for November 13th. A St. Louis County District Court jury has found the owner of Duluth Yellow Cab guilty of theft and embezzlement of public funds. Sentencing for Larry Dahl has yet to be set. Dahl had been charged as a participant in a scheme to cheat the Duluth School District out of more than $360,000. The scheme created fictitious children in need of transportation to and from school. The district's former transportation director, Richard Beck, is now serving a sentence for his involvement. Dahl had admitted to overcharging the district for transporting students, but maintains that he did nothing illegal. In a related item, the owners of Diamond Cab were also sentenced today by Judge David Beaushore in St. Louis County District Court. Gary and Kathy Konezny were placed on 5 years probation for their involvement in that transportation scheme. They pleaded guilty in August to 1 count of aiding or abetting theft by false representation or swindle. In addition to probation, the couple will also serve 500 hours of community service and pay restitution on any of the funds received as part of the swindle. If they fail to meet the conditions of their probation, the Konezny's will serve 9 months in jail. Authorities say they arrested 2 major drug dealers on the Iron Range. Virginia police say 23-year-old Damon Darval and 39-year-old Henry Quayle have been arrested as the result of a 3-year-long investigation. The 2 Virginia men were arraigned in St. Louis County District Court in Virginia on multiple drug felony charges. Authorities say the men sold large quantities of cocaine and other controlled substances to undercover officers. Police say other arrests are also pending as their investigation continues. A late breakthrough in contract talks has averted a strike at National Steel in Keewatin. Last night, the 2 sides announced that talks had broken off, but today at 10 a.m., labor and management representatives were back at the bargaining table. Late this afternoon came this announcement.
Okay, the United Steelworkers America and National Steel Pellet Company today have reached a tentative settlement for a new collective bargaining agreement which would expire August 1, 1989.
Took a lot of work on management's part and a lot of work on the union, but I'm very pleased with the effort put forth by both management and union in this, and I'm sure everybody concerned will be happy about it.
Terms of the agreement have not been released. Those details are expected to be announced, though, after next Tuesday's meeting with the rank and file. Another step toward improving air service in and out of Duluth was taken today in the second of a series of meetings between community members in the Twin Ports and officials from Northwest Airlines, and development of a special 800 number was announced. This number makes it possible for travelers in Duluth to get information about connecting flights in the Twin Cities. The number is 1-800-441-1818. Although this number will be helpful, other meetings are still scheduled.
There are several meaty issues that concern items like convention business, which will become a very important issue to us as this new convention center is built and becomes operable. The ability for people to fly in for conventions is a major issue.
The next meeting is set for November. Still to come tonight, nearly a ton of food was donated today to the Duluth Food Shelf thanks to the efforts of a Duluth radio station. And prepare yourself for a fright. We'll continue our special series on Halloween. Do you believe in ghosts? We'll be right back.
How far do you walk on your job every day? 5 miles, 5.4, 6.5, 6.6, 9.3. More than 10? No wonder your feet hurt. But they won't if you wear Red Wings, the 20-mile-a-day comfort shoes.
Welcome to a brand new experience in luxury hospitality and dining at its best. This is the exquisite new ballroom at the Radisson Duluth, and it's just the beginning of better things to come in the total renovation of Duluth's most exciting hotel. Whether you're planning a gala wedding reception for 400 people or a business gathering for 75, this beautiful new ballroom, combined with the Radisson's catering excellence, promises to make your day or evening everything you want it to be. It's a brand new beginning at the Radisson Duluth.
Let's say you have something for sale.
I usually advertise for my licensed daycare business. The budget is just as well read, if not better read. It comes out once a week. People around, especially around here, which is my daycare area, read it cover to cover. Why go with somebody else if you can get results with the budgeter?
The Duluth Budgeteer, classified ads with proven results. Call today.
The man who stood the best chance for a Republican-backed run at William Proxmire's Senate seat says he won't even try. Wisconsin Congressman James Sensenbrenner says such a camp would require him to take time to raise a lot of money and deal more closely with special interest groups, which he says he doesn't want to do. Polls showed Sensenbrenner to be the leading candidate for the Republican nomination to run for the Senate. Wisconsin Senator William Proxmire is retiring after this term. State Senator Susan Engleitner is the only announced candidate for Proxmire's spot in Washington. Wisconsin residents could be buying state lottery tickets as early as Valentine's Day. The Wisconsin legislature approved a bill to create and regulate a lottery there. The measure passed the state Senate and Assembly early this morning and was sent to Governor Thompson. Representative Richard Shoemaker says computerized high jackpot lottery games could be running by sometime next spring. Legislative financial analysts expect people to spend $143 million on lottery tickets in the next fiscal year. UMD ushered in a new chancellor today. Lawrence Ianni was inaugurated as the 5th chancellor of UMD this afternoon in UMD's Romano Gymnasium. Several members of the university's Board of Regents were in attendance, as were representatives of over 30 other educational institutions from across the state. Ianni became UMD chancellor July 1st after 12 years as an administrator on the San Francisco State University campus. Have you decided what you're going to wear yet? Halloween costumes are easier to rent than they are to make, and that's the way that folks at the Taylor Rental like it. Tomorrow afternoon, over 80 costumes will leave their stores.
All age groups. This year we've had a lot of adults and coming through, and the college kids too. Mm-hmm.
People have been trying on and reserving costumes for 2 weeks, which doesn't leave much of a selection.
I came at the last minute. It was really only one of the ones available.
Now, the most popular costumes, they say, are the Southern Belle, the French Maid, and the Easter Bunny. Do you believe in ghosts? Halloween is a good time to whisper those stories of the dead that refuse to die. Ghost stories have been told for generations to most every child and every adult. Now, people are either increasingly fascinated or fearful of seeing a ghost. In part 2 of our 3-part series, we examine, are there really such things as ghosts? Cynics categorize ghosts along with UFO and Bigfoot sightings. The most accepted definition of a ghost today is a disembodied spirit which haunts a former habitat or person. And those who study spiritual existence say, just like people, there are good and bad spirits.
Really, there's two definitions, apparition and a ghost, a haunting ghost. Those are usually people who have died under some peculiar circumstance. Maybe they're murdered, maybe they were insane when they